welcome back to an all-new edition of the His and Her Money Show with America's #1 money couple. I'm Talaat.
And I'm Tai, and we're from hisandhermoney.com, where we're managing money, marriage, and everything in between.
Guys, we are super glad to have you back here with us for another great show because we have another fantastic debt-free story lined up for you. We're going to be talking with an incredible couple by the name of Staphon and Sheley.
That's right, guys. I love their story because they did something that most people probably would not do. But guess what? They achieved debt freedom. So find out exactly what it was.
Hey, Staphon. Hey, Sheley. Welcome to the His and Her Money Show.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
We're glad that you guys are here with us today to share the details of your incredible journey to debt freedom, because we know our audience is going to love to hear all the ups and downs, twists and turns that you guys had to endure in order to ultimately achieve your goal of debt freedom. But before we get to your story, can you just take a moment and introduce yourself to the audience and let them know what you're all about?
All right.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Sure. I'm Sheley. I'm 26. I work at a church, and about 5 months ago, we just had our first little baby girl.
Congrats.
Oh.
Thank you.
And I'm Staphon. I'm a graphic designer, and yeah, girl. Girl.
Love that. Love that. So we have you guys on the show to talk about your debt-free journey. Can you tell our audience a little bit about the debt? How much debt was it? What type of debt it was?
Yeah. You know the number.
Yeah, we paid off $70,858, and it took about 2.5 years. It was just over 29 months.
Wowzers.
Wow.
And that debt consisted of a couple car loans, my car, her car, and my school loans.
Wow.
Wow.
Typical stuff though, right? Car loans, student loans. According to the culture, that's all typical, normal American stuff. It's part of the American dream, Staphon.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
And-
yeah.
Yeah, they treat it like it's not even debt. This is how you have to do it. So I was like, yeah, I never got into credit card debt or anything because that's real debt. What I was in wasn't real debt. So
It's the whole good debt, bad debt thing. But what was it for you guys that made you say, yeah, that's nice that you guys kind of cuten it up and say there's some debt that's good and some that's bad. But you guys said, you know what, I don't want any of this stuff. And you guys said, nah, I think I want to be debt free. What was it that made you get there to even have the idea to get out of debt in the first place?
Yeah. Well, we took the Dave Ramsey's financial peace class at our church. It was being offered, and hearing about it, we were just told he teaches you how to be good stewards of God's money, and we really, took that to heart, and we were like, okay, let's check it out and see what this is all about, and kind of learned in the class how debt is bad and is not freeing at all. So
yeah, we tried to fight it a little bit too, and we just realized more and more like, no, this is what we need to be doing.
yeah.
So what made this time different? Most times, when someone wants to get out of debt, they either try before in the past, or every new year they say, okay, we're going to handle our money a lot better, or we're going to do better. We know that we need to get out of debt. What made this moment different from all the others?
I think, going through a class together with a bunch of other people was really helpful, I think. We were able to go through that journey with 10 other families, and so we just kind of got into the group atmosphere of it, and then also the just knowing that we were getting ready to start a family, and that we didn't want to we didn't want to be in debt when we were starting a family, and we wanted to be able to leave all of our money to our kids one day, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, what you guys decided to embark on was pretty countercultural. It's not the norm. It's not typical. It wasn't even typical for you. Like, this was going to be new for you all. So talk about the mentality, the paradigm shift, the way that you view money, the thinking aspect of it. How was that transition with changing the way that you even viewed money in order to launch out on this debt-free journey?
Yeah, I think just going through the class and just hearing what Dave Ramsey had to say about it was the eye-opening part of it. And another I know for me, and I think you went to the same camp, we went to Hume Lake in high school and learned about, learned more in depth about the parable of the talents, and how if you correctly sow your talents, and use God's money the right way, he'll give you more. He'll help you grow it. He'll bless you.
Yeah, if
in
you're good
that.
at the little things, he'll put you in charge of the big things.
Yeah, but if you bury your money in the ground, I don't know. But if you don't use it wisely, he's gonna take it away from you, and you'll have some hard times. So, just thinking about that just made it a lot easier to say, hey, this isn't our money. This is our master's money. Let's make it grow and be good stewards of it.
Awesome. So now you guys paid off, what was it, 78,000?
70,800. Yeah.
Okay, 70,800 in 29 months. That is amazing, by the way. So can you please tell our audience, what were some of the strategies? What were some of the things that you guys did in order to do this? Because, oh my gosh, like
that's crazy.
That's unbelievable. So what were some of the things that you guys did in order to pay this debt off in such a short period of time?
Well, one of the biggest things we did was just a cash budget. So we'd pull out cash every month and we'd say, this is how much we have for everything. And once that money was gone, it was gone. And it was, that's all we got for that month for whatever gas money. It's like, we're not driving anymore. But we just had to be strategic with our money. And then it was so freeing at the same time, which was cool, because it's like, no, I have this money here that I can use because I've set it aside. So it's not like, well, I can't fill up my tank of gas because I have to, I don't even know. It's been set aside. And I've got it there, and it's just the cash budget was really helpful.
And I mean, I know it sounds weird to take out, like $700 in cash every month, but when you're holding $700 in cash every month and you're like, oh yeah, I'll make it rain. Like,
And we also did the really crazy thing. Some people sell their car, some people do all this other stuff. No, we did something crazier. We moved in with my parents. So, they really helped us out. They supported us the whole time, which was really, really nice.
Yeah.
And because we live in one of the richest areas in America. So, it's not easy to pay the rent here. And so they let us, move in with them. And we just really threw everything we had at the debt.
Talk about that a little bit, because I think most times when people are getting out of debt, there are some things that they just don't want to do in order to achieve debt freedom. And for you guys, I mean, you all were willing to move in. Was it with your parents?
Yeah, mine. Mm-hmm.
So you were moving in with your in-laws. So that's big. I moved in with my in-laws as well, too, one time when we sold our home. So I know that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to intrude. So talk about that. Was this part of your plan? Did you all come together and say, you know what, maybe we should move in with mom and dad or whatnot in order to pay this debt off? Like, how do we get to that?
Drastic, bold move?
Right.
Well, it was actually after the financial peace class. So we've said that we're never teaching that class again, because after we taught it, 3 families moved away because they were like, we can't live here. Yeah. And so they all moved. And then 3 families moved in with their parents. So after the second one moved in, we helped them move. They were friends of ours. And
this class is like the forbidden fruit from Adam and Eve. Yeah. Like you eat it and you become wiser and realize, what? Why am I living here?
Yeah. So anyway, after we helped our friends move in with their parents, we just kind of talked and we're like, do you think we should ask my parents if we could move in with them? Do you think that'd be smart? Do you think that would ruin our relationship? And we just talked about it for a long time, and then we sat down with my parents and talked about it and kind of went through like, this is kind of what we're thinking. This is what our agreement would be, and they were so on board with it, which was great. So
and you know what, let's talk about that a little bit, because someone may be hearing your story, listening right now, and you guys just gave them an idea, like a light bulb went off, like, okay, well, maybe we should ask our parents. How did that conversation go? I heard you say that you all came with some things already in place, so you were kind of prepared for this conversation. So how did it go?
I don't even really remember.
I think it was pretty easy to bring up, just because we had just done the class, and her dad's the pastor of the church, by the way. And so he knew what was happening with the classes, and knowing that, families were moving away, and it was, eye-opening. It was really expensive to live here. So in asking, we were like, hey, we want to be debt-free, and, these are our goals. These are our plans. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it helped because my parents have actually housed several people. So at one point there was 10 of us living in this house.
Whoa.
Wow.
And so there was 4 generations after I had my daughter. My grandparents were living here as well. And then we've had a couple friends live here and all that. So they've always had the open house mentality.
So it's been a fun time, just having just so many people in the house, and we're just hanging out. There's never a dull moment.
You talked about when you came to your parents and your in-laws, you came and said, these are my plans and these are my goals. Talk about those plans and those goals and how you guys came to it ahead of time, because one of the key things to achieving financial freedom is setting goals, is having a plan. So how did you guys come together to create that and thus have that to present to your in-laws?
Well, when we started, we actually had a different goal. Our goal was we're going to pay off our cars, which was about 13,000 of the 70. So our cars, were just a small chunk of it. And so we said we're going to pay off the 13,000, and then we're going to save up to buy a house, because paying off the student loans was totally. We were like, no, we can't even do it. Like, we just kind of.
That'll be goal, and by 2022 we'll have them paid off.
Yeah, we actually it was 2023. It was debt free by 2023.
That's right.
And so we so our original goal was to save up to buy a house, and we had that goal for the first year and a half that we were living there, and it wasn't until about 6 months ago that we both kind of sat down and we had saved up about $30,000 for a down payment. And we both kind of at the same time came to the realization that, no, we shouldn't be buying a house with all this debt that we have. We need to throw this at the student loans. And so we waited until after Zoe was born to make sure that, everything was good, that we were both healthy, and there wasn't going to be any drastic hospital bills. So we waited till after she was born in April, and then just threw like $33,000 or something at the loans, which just cut it in half. And then we just got really intense of just paying it off like crazy.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So were there any obstacles that you guys had to overcome along the way during this debt-free journey?
Definitely the expense of this area. And it's a very transient area. People are coming and going all the time.
What area are you guys? What state?
We're in the East Bay area of California, so we're about 30 miles east of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what about the transition, even going from your own place into, your parents' place? I know that they were on board. You guys were fired up. You guys were focused. But that still had to be tough. That transition. How were you able to be okay with that and continue to progress and move forward?
I guess that's more a question for me. Actually, it was one of those things where that's where you could see that God was working in our lives. Because right when we moved in, like we said, the house was full of people, and it was fun. And everybody was just everyone got along really well, and we hit our dog was super happy. She had a backyard, and everything just fell into place, and we just there wasn't a real sad lapse or anything like that. It was just this is what we're doing. And
there's times that it was hard, obviously, because we went from having our own place to having a bedroom, and that was it. That was ours. But I think overall that was very little. The pros were so outweighing of the cons that we didn't even really notice it after a little while. And
I mean, one big thing was, I think less than a month after we moved in, we paid off my car.
yeah.
Things were working that fast, that like with the debt snowball, that was the lowest payment that we had, which was, I think,
It was like 4,000, I think.
4,000, something like that. It was really.
And we had this odd job that our friend wanted us to do, and we got paid several $100s for it, and we're like, sweet, and we just threw it at the car. And,
boom, and we're like,
yeah.
this is working. this is going well. And then her car, like, we were like, oh yeah, it's going to take another 5 months to have her car. I think it was 2 months later.
Yeah.
So it was like, this is obviously what we should be doing. This was the right step.
Yeah.
Love reading, but wish you had more time to get into your favorite books? What if you could use the time you already have and listen to the books you already love? Well, now you can with Audible. With Audible books, you can be inspired, entertained, and educated anywhere, anytime. Choose from the bestsellers in self-development, business, nonfiction, and more. So what are you waiting for? Your first 30 days are free. Visit hisandhermoney.com/audible to get started today. That's hisandhermoney.com/audible.
Now, you mentioned also that you taught the Financial Peace University course at your church. Were there any other families that are now debt-free that went through that same course at the same time as you guys?
There's a couple of them. There's two that moved in with their parents, and one that moved away. And then we have friends who just got married. He went through the class, she didn't, and he became debt free and was like piling up money, and so she was paying off the class as she went, the debt. She was paying off her debt as they were engaged and everything, and he was letting her do that on her own because they weren't married yet, and he just said, "Oh, the second we get married, her debt's gone. I'm taking care of all of it."
Yeah.
So it was really cool. So,
but it was neat to see him like kind of talking to her about it, like, you know, him doing the debt, and we had talked to him too, and he's in a place where, same thing, his student loans, he's paying it off, and you know, one day he's just like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being debt free. I'm getting rid of it. It's going to take me 3 months. I got it. And he did it. And so, you know, having done that when he was engaged to his fiance, he was like, all right, we're going to talk about your finances before we get married. And already you could see like the legacy happening. And that was actually a really exciting moment, talking to him and being like, hey, we're going to be debt free like at the end of the month. And he's like, no way. Yes. I thought it was going to be 2023. We're like, nope.
That's awesome. Well, talk us through that moment of when you guys paid that last debt payment.
oh man.
Yeah. So
Well, it's set up because I just got my paycheck coming in, like it alerts my phone saying that I had been paid, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. So I took a screenshot of our bank account, and I took a screenshot of how much was left on the student loans, and I put them together, and I texted him the picture, and I said, are you ready to be debt free?
and so I was out pokey hunting with, you know, playing Pokemon Go with my friends. And I was like, yes, but wait till I get home. So, because I wanted to be there when it happened.
Obviously,
so,
yes.
But yeah, so I got home, you know, hour or so later, and yeah, we pressed the button. But the cool thing about, you know, when we did press the button, we had projected, we kept planning out, because we have, like, because of the course now, we have our own financial meetings that we call into session. And yeah, when we do that, we go over the budget or whatever, and we were like, okay, I think it was 3 months ago, we were like, okay, we could have it done by November. Awesome. Yeah, we could do November. And then it became October, and we were like, we can do it quicker. What is it, August?
Yeah, it was August. It was the middle of August.
It got pushed up that quickly. Like we were that intense about it towards the end. And as you get that little taste, and you just want to just take it out, and when it finally happens, it's glorious.
Yeah.
We then just grabbed a bunch of cash and threw it all over the place.
Yeah.
Love it.
I mean, this is such an incredible journey that you guys went on. What type of impact did all of this have on your marriage as a whole?
It was all really positive.
Yeah.
It was nice because there were some moments where, like, for instance, when I had the thought of not paying off, or excuse me, not saving up for a house anymore, but finishing paying off our debt, I was terrified of coming to him with it because I'm like, no, he's not going to agree. We're going to get into this fight and everything. And so I was just really timid. I was like, hey, what would you think about this? And immediately he just goes, oh my gosh, I was thinking the same thing. And so it was so nice just knowing that we were on the same page with all of it.
And I mean, in that came, we started listening to Dave Ramsey's podcast, and just kind of like it is months after we had done a year after we'd done the class, and year and a half, I think.
2 years, yeah.
And we started listening to the podcast just for fun, and just listening to, his mindset on stuff, like, and making that our own mindset. And once that our minds clicked, because we'd heard so many different calls, and it was just like 2 weeks after we had been listening to it. And, I'd kind of been thinking about, we should be, paying off the school loans quicker, but I don't want to be selfish, because I felt like they were my school loans. They were, and I know she wanted a house, so I didn't bring it up. But then when she brought it up, I was like, yes.
So tell us, how has the family responded? I mean, oh my gosh, when you finally told them the news that we are debt free.
So encouraging, so positive. Just leading up to it, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is our projection. I'm such a numbers person that I had all this calculated out, and I was just like, we're gonna be debt free at this point. And then I'd come back like 3 days later, we're gonna be debt free at this point. and they were all just so excited for us. They've been so positive and so supportive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. So, I mean, you guys did it. You guys,
That's awesome.
You guys blew it out the water. Okay, $70,800 in 2 years.
29 months, yeah.
So now what? What is life like for you guys now that you guys did the unthinkable compared to what life was like back then?
The first paycheck that we got after we had finished paying off the debt, I again sent him a screenshot of our bank account. And I was like, "Oh, hello, money. That's all ours." It's nice. We're going to go back to saving up for a house, but we just have a much more open mindset about it now, where we're making wiser decisions, and just knowing that this money is ours, it makes me feel more responsible for it. And
I mean, the minimum payment for the school loans was $560 a month. So just all of a sudden, $560 that we don't have to give to anybody. We get to put it towards our futures and Zoe's futures. Zoe's our daughter. I don't know if that got mentioned at all, but yeah, just put it that. But then, like, we also realized, or she, being the number cruncher that she is, realized we want to have 3 kids, and to send them all to college, we would only have to save up $500 a month, which is $60 less than my school payments after college. And we could send all 3 to college. And just learning stuff like that, it's like, I want to build this awesome legacy. And both of us, we just want to build this awesome legacy for our kids, and going forward, and just be that example to friends and family all around.
Love that. So now, what has been your biggest life lesson during all of this?
Mostly knowing that the money isn't ours in the first place; it's God's, and that He'll give you these amazing opportunities if you let Him, and if you're a good steward of His money. And that's been really important for us.
Yeah, absolutely. We should cover that one.
Now, what are some good book recommendations for somebody who is at the starting line that you guys started a couple years ago, and they're trying to figure out, navigate personal finance? They have a desire to get things in order. They have a desire to get out of debt and change their legacy like you guys did. What would you tell them to read?
Definitely start with Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover. That's the book that he uses for his Financial Peace University class, and that's a great starting point. Yeah.
And then, having listened to the podcast, I hear that Chris Hogan's Retire Inspired book is really great for people at that later phase, we'll probably have to start
Always
reading
look
that
forward to.
next.
Yeah.
Just start saving for retirement. Be done. Maybe what, 45?
Yeah.
Be done.
Yeah, we're done.
No, but those are two good books. We have Rachel Cruz's new book pre-ordered already. Waiting for that one.
Yeah, love your life, not theirs. Yeah.
Which I think that's been a good life lesson too. Is don't looking at other people's lives and trying to match that. Just people getting a house and trying to match. What we hear is the thing to do. Just, oh yeah, you get out of college, you get a job, you get a house, or you have a kid, you get a house, or whatever order that's supposed to go in. And just slowing down and realizing, no, we need it step by step. We got to get rid of this first, and then we can do this the right way. And so when we have a house, it'll be a blessing, not a curse, and stuff like that. So I think those are 3 good books.
So talk to that person right now that may, feel a little discouraged, a little hopeless, like, okay, wow, after hearing your story, maybe I can do this. Talk to that person right now.
All right.
I mean, just get on a written budget. That's the most important first step you can do, is look at how much money you have coming in every month and tell it where to go. Budget is telling your money where to go, not wondering where it went.
Yeah.
And that's the most important step. And then if you're married, be on the same page as your spouse. Don't try to do this sneaky stuff behind their back, and don't try to, just be on the same page. Talk about everything. Have these financial meetings where, you have the nerd and the free spirit, and I'm the nerd. And
Free spirit.
But I make him, he has to contribute something. So he has to look at what, I've planned, and he doesn't just get to say, okay, that sounds good, whatever. No, he has to look at it and say, what if we did this instead? And he has to make at least like one change every time we do a budget, and bring something to the table. So just being on the same page as your spouse is huge.
Yeah, that's a really big one. And it's not hard. You just sit down. Like it takes 5 minutes sometimes meetings, and just have fun with it. And I think a cash budget is key too, is because that teaches you that this is what you have. You visually get to see this is what we have for the month. And if you don't go over that, you just stay within that. You can stay with it. And a budget isn't something that's going to chain you down. Debt's going to chain you down. Having a budget is actually freeing. I know with me, I was always cautious before, like, oh, can I, buy a new video game or something? Can I buy this? And no, like, part of the budget is I get my own spending money. I can spend it on whatever I want. So it's freeing in that sense. It's like, yeah, just buy this, and then if I want something else, it's just save for it. Like, and knowing that it doesn't affect the overall goal is fantastic, because that's set aside.
Yeah.
Awesome words of wisdom, guys. Staphon, Sheley. I mean, $70,000 in 2 years is super incredible, and your story was super inspiring. So we're grateful that you guys took time out of your schedule to conduct this interview and inspire others. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
This is great. Thank you.
Wow, wasn't that incredible? I mean, they wiped out a bunch of debt in a small amount of time. And that's because they were willing to do what other people were not willing to do.
Would you move in with your in-laws?
Absolutely. If it meant
I would too.
Changing my family tree financially, you got to do
and the parents supported
whatever
them.
It takes.
So I love that. Tell your family and friends about your goal of getting out of debt, and you just may be surprised. They may be willing to help in some way.
And you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to become free, because freedom from your debt is that important. You saw it right here from Staphon and Sheley. You see the peace in their eyes. You can hear the joy in their voice, because they are free. And we want you to be free as well. And with that in mind, we created a totally free ebook to help you start your journey to debt freedom. It's called The 8 Essential Steps to Getting Out of Debt. And you can pick up a free copy by simply going to hisandhermoney.com/8 steps. That's the number 8. hisandhermoney.com/8 steps.
Well, guys, we hope you all enjoyed this story and that you are inspired to get out of debt.
That's all we got for this time, guys. It's been great. Until next time. Peace.
Bye.